Hello and welcome back to a new tutorial. This week we're doing a mini beginner's guide to the speed graph in Cinema 4D. So this video is going to be targeting mainly complete beginners to using the speed graph in Cinema 4D, or maybe you just want some more tips on different techniques you can use to make your animations more interesting. So if you've already got experience using this speed graph and feel like you know what you're doing, this video isn't for you, so I'd click off now. Save yourself some time. So jumping into it, if you're still here, I'm guessing you want to learn a little bit more about the speed graph and how to use it. So it's going to be a brief tutorial, so I'm just going to go over 4 examples and explain how it all works. So you can see I've got these 4 cubes moving side to side in my viewport. Now they are all moving the same distance on the x-axis, and the only difference is that their speed graphs look a little bit different, but they're all actually reaching their destination at the exact same time. If I was to pause on these different keyframes, so if I go to the first one, you can see they're all on the left. And if I go to the last one, I just need to extend this one to 64. You'll see they're all back on that left side. And on the middle one, 32, they're all on the right side. And just to make it loop properly, I just take away the last keyframe because they're going to look the same. If I was to leave it on there a bit longer, there would be like a slight pause before it replays the animation. But yes, as I said, they're all reaching their destination at the exact same time. It's just the journey that they take to get there is just a bit different. So my first example here, this cube, this one's just moving in a very linear movement. It's not speeding up or slowing down, it's just moving at a constant pace all the time, and you can see that's represented in this graph with just straight lines. There's no curves going on, so yeah, just a constant pace of movement. This can be useful in some cases, mainly in camera movement. I think I use this quite a lot. When I don't want something to be like too intense, maybe I just want to focus on something, then linear camera movement could be good. It's all just based on what you're trying to achieve. But yeah, this is the most standard way of working. I could just click this linear button here and that would perfectly straighten them out. I just kind of wanted to have the option to play around with the curves. So these curve handles here that you see, they are what we use to control the curve and the shape of it. So let me, if I bring this back out a little bit. If I was to hold control and pull on these curves, you see how this shape is changing? Oh, and I've actually got those bottom ones selected as well, but it doesn't matter. So it's kind of changing the curve shape, which is going to change what the journey is like for that cube getting to its destination. So you can see now that I've increased these lines, you can see how it's creating this kind of nice bounce movement where it's like speeding up and slowing down just before it gets to the end. That's what this curve's doing, which is similar to the one below it, which is just doing it a little bit more sharper. So I'm going to revert that one back to its state and just quickly explain why that's happening. So in this speed graph, it will show you the keyframes that you've set for your object. So in this case, I've got my keyframe here for the x-axis. Let me open this so you see position x. So that's the first keyframe I set at a value of -500, which you can also read on the side of this graph. And then if we go forward to the 32nd keyframe, you can see we've got another keyframe at the value of 500. So this is showing the movement or the translation from this point of -500, which was, let me go back to the start. So this cube is now at -500 on the x. And then when it gets to 32, it's at +500. And what this line represents is the kind of speed that it's currently taking to get to that point. So it's not actually changing how long it's going to take to get there, but kind of just like the speed at these different points in between your 2 keyframes. So the straighter this line is along this graph, the slower your object is going, or it could even be just still, maybe it's not moving at all. But then the sharper the line is going up horizontally, the quicker your object's going to be going. So you're going to see, I'm just going to manipulate this first keyframe here, and I'm going to drag all the way across, so it's going just straight across. So now, let me just turn off these other, we don't want these ones on, so I'm just going to turn these off so we can focus on this one. So when I hit play now, you're going to see it's going to go a lot slower, and then it's going to shoot off and kind of bounce. It's doing an interesting movement actually. It's kind of launching off and then just bouncing back. But let's just focus on this first part of it. So where I've dragged it out, you can see this line's going straight and straight, and it's slowly starting to curve up, and that's why it speeds up just around here. So if I actually just set that, if I actually set this to 32 keyframes, so we just see this area, you can see it just shoots off right at the end, and then it will reset. So it's getting slow, and then it just speeds up. Now, if I was to undo this and do the opposite, so we just move it up, we go directly up, we go make it quite sharp, then you're going to see when I hit play, it's going to just shoot off really quickly. So you're almost not even seeing that translation. If I was to move keyframe by keyframe, you can see it's traveling a lot further, and then look, the distance traveled is getting shorter and shorter. So the first keyframe is really sharp, and then it's slowly tapering off and getting slower, and then this part's just linear again. So yeah, all you need to really understand is that going straight along means it's going slower, or going straight up means it's going faster. So you can create some interesting animations knowing this now. So let me turn this one off and open up our other ones. Let's look at this bottom one now that I've created. So this one's kind of what I did at the start, where I just extended all of these handles kind of like as far as they can go really. So if I was to hit play on this one, see how this one's really sharp, it's like slow, and then it pings to the other side. So this one's quite common in a lot of animations. Normally it might be a little bit smoother, like something like here. So it's kind of just like, it's just not boring. Like when you use just linear movements, in some animations you might be doing, this could be a much more interesting way to visualize what's going on in comparison to the original cube, which is just linear. Like this could be perceived as a little bit boring. It will just up the level of your work if you can understand how to use the speed graph and how to manipulate it to achieve that kind of look you want. So you can see it goes along horizontally quite slow, and then it just shoots up all of a sudden. So this part's going to be really fast, and then this part in the middle is going to be a lot slower because it's a lot straighter. And then same thing, because it's going down vertically, quite steep, it's going to speed up in this area here. So yeah, for this one, we're going a lot slower at the start, and then it's going to speed up and slam into the wall, but then it's going to hold for a little bit before coming back out. So instead of having to make multiple keyframes, maybe you like Control Shift, and we're like, oh, I'm going to have to add some extra keyframes to hold that position. I don't want it to like come off the wall straight away. Maybe you're going to do something like that, like hold it there and then come out. You don't need to do that. You can undo this, and you can just drag your handles out further to hold for a bit longer. So it slams, and then it very slowly comes back out. So it's going to save you a lot of headache when it comes to adding multiple keyframes. I used to spend so much time just adding pointless amounts of keyframes to try achieve my animations. It's just not needed. If you can just understand how to manipulate these speed graph lines, then it's going to save you so much headache later on. And also, just to point out, to get your keyframes to be able to go in different directions like this, you might have noticed that these ones have got triangles on, and then these ones have got circles on. The reason is because if you select the keyframe you want to kind of break the handles so that they're separate, is this button here. So you see if I toggle that on and on, these handles change from circles to triangles. So I'm going to just undo because I want to keep that how it was. But the triangles mean that both sides are going to have the same, like they're going to mirror each other essentially. And then if you were to turn that on and you get the circles, you now have control of each side on their own. So that's quite important to know. Use that all the time. I haven't actually used the rest of this toolbar. I only ever click these ones because I might want to change to linear or change to curved or constant, but never really need to do constant. And we'll look at my last example. This one's like the bouncing one. So it goes along slowly across the center, and then it just bounces off the walls. Kind of speeds up just slightly before it hits the walls as well. And you can see for the handles for this one, we're just going straight up on the ends to kind of add a little bit of speed, and then it's going to kind of just gradually, this kind of feels a little bit linear really. It's just going slowly along, and then as it reaches the end, the right side, it's kind of just bouncing off. But anyway, I hope that has helped your understanding of how to use the speed graph a little bit better. You can see there are loads of different ways you can use it to create some interesting looks with your animations. So yeah, just play around with it and see what you can come up with. If you've learned something new in this tutorial, please be sure to drop a like. It means so much to me and encourages me to make more content. But anyway, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.